Good Wednesday morning, South Carolina weather watchers. I'm your meteorologist, Jesse Peterson, and let's go ahead and talk about the weather for your Wednesday. Starting off, what is going on here throughout the entire state of South Carolina? We're looking nice and dry, no rainfall, looking good. But if we scroll our way out, see what's going on throughout the entire U.S., we do have some rainfall and some flooding going on in New York, going throughout Massachusetts, Connecticut, Rhode Island. We do have some more rainfall in Nebraska, Kansas, even over inside of Idaho, Utah, Wyoming, Arizona. I mean, all these areas are receiving some rainfall, even inside the Arkansas, Tennessee, and Mississippi areas. Do have some rainfall over in those areas. Now, in terms of cloud cover, we do see some cloud cover. It's definitely not the most dense, nor is it really the most like condensed. Kind of just looks like a little like a blanket across the low country, Midlands, PD, Grand Strand, upstate. I mean, almost all areas. But it's definitely not completely clear, though. Definitely not completely clear and not completely cloudy either. Cloud cover for the future, we're going to push this forward over into this afternoon here, going even into tonight. And watch how we move into this evening. Cloud cover actually starts to dissipate a little bit, and then even as we move into tonight, here's 11 p.m. all the way to 12 o'clock in the morning. Look at how clear we are tonight. It's going to be a nice night tonight. Now, for our current temperatures, we're talking about 85 in Charleston, 84 in Somerville, 83 Georgetown, 82 Myrtle Beach and Myrtle's Inlet, 81 in Florence, 81 Hartsville, also 84 in Columbia, 82 Newberry, 82 in Greenwood, 81 in Lawrence, Anderson, 80 Greenville, Spartanburg, Gaffney. Now, for our air quality for tonight, today, excuse me, not tonight, we're looking at a moderate risk for the majority of us. Rather, if you're in Spartanburg, down to Columbia, down all the way into the Low Country and the Grand Strand areas, you have a moderate risk of air quality if you're in those areas in the yellow. And that doesn't mean that it's, too bad, but it also doesn't mean that it's too good either. So just make sure that you are aware, paying attention to that air quality if you're outside for a long period of time in the yellow. If you're not in the yellow, though, you're good for today. High temperatures for today, we're talking about 92 in Spartanburg, 95 in Columbia, 96 in Orangeburg, and 94 in Moncks Corner, 95 in Charleston, 93 Georgetown, 91 Myrtle Beach, 97 in Hilton Head Island. And then as you go into those heat index values for today, heat index values all the way up from 110 to Charleston to 113 in Hilton Head Island, 102 in Moncks Corner, 106 in Walterboro, 104 Orangeburg, and then we may just see some 90s, like 97 in Florence, 96 Winsboro, 95 in Greenville, 94 Spartanburg. Winds for today are going to be, at least try to be calm for the good amount of us, from 5 to 10 miles per hour. But there are a couple of areas like up there in Spartanburg, Greenville, where it may get up past 10. And wind gusts could potentially get up to around 20, maybe even higher than that today in terms of those wind gusts. So not breezy, but definitely not still either. Rainfall as we move throughout the next 24 hours, we're looking at a hundredth of an inch to a tenth of an inch for areas like Walterboro, going over into a lot of areas in the low country, but see a tenth of an inch to a quarter of an inch in Charleston, quarter of an inch in Hilton Head Island, and somebody may even see a half an inch inside the low country. And also, looking up there near Rock Hill, we have some other spots that we are looking at for potential rainfall as we move throughout the next 24 hours. Now for the SPC outlook, thunderstorms are possible again in those low country areas, the western Grand Strand and Georgetown County, the southern Midlands over there. But look down there just to the south of Hilton Head Island, we have a marginal risk of severe weather that is for, if I mean most of us could probably guess what the risk is for. Damaging winds. Yes, damaging winds of up to 60 miles per hour over there in the southern portion of the state, just to the south of Hilton Head Island. That dark green area there. So if you're in that dark green area, watch for some isolated damaging wind gusts of up to 60 miles per hour. And if you're in the light green, again, that's areas like in the low country, southern Midlands, western Grand Strand, you have a risk of regular thunderstorms, nothing severe. Excessive rainfall also is possible. Look in Hilton Head Island, Bluffton, Beaufort, Ridgeland. These areas have a 5% risk of flash flooding as we go over into today. So make sure that you're watching out for isolated flash flooding. And then for the crazy score, we're at a 2. South Carolina's enjoying calm, pleasant conditions, no significant weather threats across the state. It's nice. I mean, nice outside right now. Yeah, cloud cover, kind of making a little bit of some noise in some spots, but for the most part, it's clear throughout all of the 6 main areas of Columbia, Charleston, Greenville, Aiken, Florence, and Myrtle Beach. Nice. And then also a lot of those temperatures staying in the lower 70s, some, in the mid 80s or so, so getting a bit hot, but really just near those coastal areas. Everybody else, though, getting into like the more mid 80s, more lower 80s into the upper 70s. So we're looking nice and calm outside. Definitely a good time to go out right now, get some stuff done. So let's go in now and take a look at the models. Time is at the bottom part of your screen. Make sure that you pay attention to that. We're starting off here at 9 a.m. And just as we push this forward, we go to noon, we're not seeing anything. We go into around 2 to 3 p.m. And now we're starting to see some shower activity starting to move its way towards the east, towards the low country areas. And this brings some more rainfall through around 4 p.m., 5 p.m., and maybe even by 6 p.m. this evening, we're seeing some storm activity kind of moving throughout some of these areas. And then look up there in the PD areas by around 5 p.m., 4 5 p.m., we're starting to see some shower activity moving towards like Marlborough County, moving towards just those northern PD areas up there. And watch as you get to around 7 p.m., 8 p.m., some good thunderstorm activity could be possible over there in the low country later on. Once we get to around 10, 11 p.m., though, things calm down. 12 a.m. comes along, and we're staying nice and dry. So now taking a look at the NHC, obviously no tropical cyclone activity is expected. We're good there. No earthquakes should have occurred. Nope. And then that's about all that I have to say here for today. So I will be back tonight, and obviously you can see at the bottom clearly we had a huge night last night. If you weren't here last night, we had insane subscriber growth last night. And first off, I want to thank everybody who did subscribe last night. And tonight will be the 800 subscriber celebration. Tonight will be the 800 subscriber celebration. So we're going to have that. We're going to change the goal tonight to 900. And, we'll celebrate today, but tomorrow, obviously, it's going to be back to work, back to getting closer to 900. But we're already at 809. So, it's not like we're starting at 800. We're starting already almost a tenth of the way there. So, closer and closer to 1,000. Closer and closer. So, but we got to make it to 900 first. So, I'll be back tonight, 8 o'clock p.m., not 9 o'clock, 8 o'clock p.m. for your Wednesday evening forecast update. Also, we'll be halfway through the week, so we'll be celebrating 2 things going on. So let's give ourselves a round of applause. So I'll be back tonight. Make sure that you're there for that. And hit those 2 buttons before you leave if you're new. Hit the like button, subscribe button, share button.